What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Those Movie Dudes podcast. I am your co-host, Jonathan, joined by my pals, Ducky and Lil Debbie, also known as Nate. I'm going to go ahead and add him right now. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Glad to be here with y'all.
Yeah.
Probably cut that out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why it was still playing very loud, so I don't know what to do. But yeah, if you haven't been here before, we are Those Movie Dudes. We're here every other week to talk about movie news, new releases, first-time watches, do a little trivia. I know that Ducky has probably some fun questions for us as well, because I don't know how much movie news there actually is to talk about. Also, if you want to follow us, that's going to be on Instagram, TikTok, X, YouTube, and Twitch at Those Movie Dudes. And if you want to watch us in video format, I highly recommend going over to YouTube. It seems to be just better. You know, I've enjoyed watching our podcast on here. It's just puts a face to the name, a face to the voice. So highly recommend doing that, and subscribe, put notifications on while you're there. But yeah, welcome. How you guys doing this week?
Pretty good. Most of that was just kind of cut out because for some reason I think I had some connection issues. So I caught a little bit of that intro, but yeah, good to be back.
Doesn't really matter if you hear it. That's
exactly. I know what I'm doing here, so it's all good. No worries.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. What's up, Nate? What's up, buddy? Hey.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't listening. So how was what?
The fuck? What? Okay, here's the thing. The three of us are actually on the show, so theoretically you should be listening, and the other people listening to the show are allowed to tune out whenever they see fit. So I'm going to ask you again, how are you?
I'm
Did you miss that one
John.
too?
I'm fantastic. I'm freaking fantastic.
You just smile.
Oh no, I heard it all. I just selective hearing,
Throw it in the oven.
So,
there's one.
Gotcha.
We're going
I
for
think
10.
that's the third one of the show so far. But yeah, all right. So I think first things first, let's kind of dive right into the show. Spencer, Ducky, I'm gonna let you take over the first segment here. I don't know what you have on the docket, but let's hit it up with some
Usually
news.
this segment will be for movie news, but because there is a strike going on with the WGA and SAG, there just isn't that much to really talk about.
Gosh,
I mean, there's a whole bunch of movies that are releasing at film festivals that are getting some Oscar traction, and that's exciting and that's cool, and that's cool. But I'm just gonna keep it light once again. I mean, last time we had a very light little episode where I asked you just like, recommend a recent 2023 movie that you guys saw. This time, doing something a little bit different here, and you guys are going to have to use your brains. So, I mean, get ready to engage that here, because we, for the first time watch in this episode, we watched a movie called My Cousin Vinny, and it's a relatively comedic film, and that got me thinking, what was the last movie that really made you laugh out loud? What was the last great comedy film that you guys watched, and you guys had some good chuckles? I want to know. And it can't be a movie that we're talking about in this episode. I mean, I know John has a comedy he's going to talk about. It's a new release, and we did talk about My Cousin Vinny. So I want to know, just what was the last movie that really made you laugh out loud?
Oh, God.
That's a really good question. I'm going to let Nate take
tune
it
into it. Well, that's the thing is, like, I don't typically gravitate towards, like, the comedy as much, but I can make this very easy. Maybe. Let's see what the last comedies I've seen are.
Yeah, I'm also going through my reviews. I don't know. It takes a lot for a comedy to really like get me. But I mean, I have like an obvious answer.
I kind of have an answer.
Okay.
It had some funny moments. It had some very funny moments that
if it made you laugh, I think it counts. So
yeah.
I'm all ears.
It was, and it's also, I believe it's a 2023 movie as well. So you'd be proud of me for that.
Okay.
It was Sisu. You know that?
Really?
One? Yeah.
It was pretty fucking funny at times.
like you just the guys going out on the boat and then they're all like nervous because they don't want to go in the water, and just each time they go out there and they look in the water, just bubbles come up and then just blood, and I'm just
That
like,
scene was
oh dear God.
ridiculous. Yeah, it was.
Oh
a
yeah,
hilarious
I was like,
moment.
They
they
make
make
this-
Last Voyage right now.
They
What the
make
fuck?
this they make the general like this godlike person, like
He
he
becomes
killed 300
Jaws.
Russians, and yes, he just
It's so weird.
it's like John Wick but for the French or whatever era that was, like during World War II. I don't even remember where it really took place.
Wasn't it
but-
in Norway? He was Norwegian.
Yes.
And it was
He-
obviously the Nazis, and they were crossing paths, and he was just like, "Get fucked!"
Just-
like,
Just some stuff like all the
Yeah.
women driving in the truck, and they just pull up next to the other truck, and they're just like, "What's up?"
yeah, the women.
Yeah.
So
oh,
ripping
man.
people out of the back of the truck as well, and just just
Mhm.
taking over. Yeah, that movie was absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, if you haven't seen Sizu or Sizu, whatever, however you want to pronounce
Yeah.
it, it is John Wick set in World War II. It is so over the top, so crazy and ridiculous, and just defies all laws of physics and everything. It's just like, what is this movie? But Sizu, okay, that's a
Yeah,
that's a
like
good-
seeing a guy hanging from a noose for hours and nothing
Yeah.
going wrong. I'm like,
yeah, he
all
can't
right,
die.
here we go.
That's like the
Yeah.
joke of the movie. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's a good suggestion there, Sizu.
I'd like
Check
to
that out if
see,
you haven't seen it. I think we all watched it, and
One of
have
the best
enjoyed it.
trailers ever because it gives something away really quick, but it's something good. I don't know if you want me to. It says it in the trailer. The dog does not die in this movie. Like it says
Yeah,
that in the
that's
trailer.
true.
So I'm
Yes.
like, all right, fair
Right.
enough. I'll see it.
I would love to see a
Right.
Sizu or John Wick either 1v1 movie or like a team up movie. Imagine that's John Wick 5 somehow, some way. I mean,
They
it's the
somehow
fifth movie
create
in
a
the franchise.
teleport. They can teleport and bring.
They
time
might as
travel.
well. They might as well. Like honestly, who cares at this point? In terms of comedy, you know what? I think there were some. It's unexpected. I don't want to just pick like Barbie because like we already talked about Barbie. I'm gonna go Polite Society. That's on Peacock. I just watched this movie knowing nothing about it. I knew there were some like martial arts in it. I'm trying to remember exactly the film, but I gave this like, did I give this 5 out of 5? I have this
You
4
gave
out
it
of
a
5.
4, yeah.
It's
Oh,
like these
okay.
two sisters, and one is trying to stop her other sister from getting married to this dude. And like, turns out the family is crazy, doing some really messed up stuff behind the scenes. But that character, along with her two like quick, witty British friends, it's just kind of like reminded me of like Simon Pegg comedies. And it just kind of came out of nowhere. Like, and they literally like almost kill people in this movie with their martial arts, and it's just they kind of just brush it off like it's nothing. So I don't know. This movie had me by surprise, and I'd recommend it if you haven't seen this one. Polite
It-
Society.
Con
it's on
versus
Peacock.
Con.
It's on
Yeah.
Peacock, right? Yeah.
So you can go and watch it if you have a Peacock subscription. And yeah, I think that's another movie that all three of us have seen and enjoyed.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I
Yeah.
really liked that movie. I thought that was a ton of fun. It was a big Sundance hit. I think it won the audience award at Sundance this past one. And that was the same award that Cha Cha Real Smooth won. And so this won it a year later.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's a very entertaining movie. It is pretty funny at times. So it's a good pick right there. I'll
Yeah.
stick in the 2023 category. That's where you
You
guys
said
went.
recent, right? So here we
It's
are.
the most recent movie that you watched that made you laugh, and this is a recent movie that I watched and it made me laugh quite a bit. It's called Theater Camp. Have you heard of this movie?
No.
Okay,
Camp, it's like Camp Rock.
It just got added to Hulu. It premiered at Sundance. It was a huge Sundance hit. Apparently, people who saw this movie in a crowd said that this movie just like blew the roofs off. It just made everyone laugh so hard. So I was kind of watching this movie from afar, and once it got added to Hulu, I checked it out almost immediately, and it is a riot. It is so funny. It's like the stereotypical theater kids that are in charge of running a camp of a bunch of kids that want to be actors, and they go through this camp and they take it so seriously, and it's just the things that ensue within that movie is so funny. It's directed by Molly Gordon, and she's been in a whole bunch of independent films like Booksmart and some other stuff, and she directed the movie. She co-directed it, but it's done in a style, and Nate, this might be where it kind of turns you off. It's done in a Christopher Guest kind of style, where like they're kind of aware that there's a documentary crew that's there, but they were able to capture moments that are so funny and so ridiculous and over the top that I just couldn't help but literally just almost cry laughing at times. It's a recent movie on Hulu, so I definitely recommend Theater Camp. And I'm not a theater kid. Never did theater when I was growing up. We only did like these little like short films that were terrible, but
we're pretty much the closest thing to being theater kids as we
I get the whole
theater
concept of like taking cardboard and trying to turn it into gold. So it's like I get that kind of concept and that and what happens there. So it's just a very entertaining film. It's super over the top and it's a riot. And it's Jimmy Tatro's in it, Ben Platt's in it, and it's a good time. So I definitely recommend that one. And it made me laugh quite a bit. So just got to throw it out there.
Yeah,
Theater Camp.
I'm definitely throwing that on my watch list. I had no idea that movie existed because, I mean, Hulu, there's not a lot of stuff on there.
It's a 20th
never
century
click on Hulu.
Fox movie, and because Disney owns Hulu, so that all the 20th Century Fox movies get thrown on Hulu. There's one with Caitlin Dever that comes out this week. That's from the director of Spontaneous. It's an alien invasion movie. Hear great things, so I'm excited to check that one out. So yeah, if you have Hulu, there's some original movies that are releasing there, so definitely recommend that.
Spontaneous with Charlie Plummer.
Yes,
my number one film of
movie
2020.
Of 2020,
yeah. It's
movie that Nate
definitely
needs to watch. It's a pretty entertaining film.
You compared it to Christopher Guest movies
in a way because like at times when I was watching it. Oh, you do? Okay, I thought you didn't like Spinal Tap and Dog Show, and there's like a For Your Consideration. I thought you gave those kind of like a mild 2.5 to 3 out of 5. I thought you were kind of like lukewarm about them.
It's because, well,
and to be fair, I mean, this isn't necessarily a Christopher Guest type of movie. It has that type of style that I love, where it's like it's kind of self-aware and it has the over-the-top characters. Kind of. You'd have to describe it.
Jim Cummings the comedy that I don't.
Sure, the dry, very dry humor over the top. Yeah,
but I can get.
This one's more over the top and self-aware. Like there's a scene where one of the kids is doing a rehearsal and she uses these like tear sticks. And like there's a quick cut where it cuts to like the instructor and she's like, oh my god, she's using, and then they pull her aside and act like as if like she just committed a crime and like she just was like using drugs. So she's like she's using tear sticks. Like that's not real. That's like a performance comes within. And so like they just like belittle this little girl and she's like crying, and this like other kid who doesn't really care. He's just there because his parents make him, and he's like, no, it's okay. Like I don't really care. It's fine. And he's like, no, shut up. You care. Like it's just like it's so over the top.
Okay, I will watch that then.
It's silly, but it's a good time. So okay, that's just what I wanted to ask you guys there. I had another question for you guys. We don't have to get into it if we don't want to.
I think we should get into it.
I think we should.
Do want to get into it.
I like questions. I like answering questions about my opinions. So let's do that.
Fair enough. All right. Well,
yeah.
Then my last question, my last movie related question that I will keep asking until the strike ends. What's a movie that never fails to make you happy?
Oh man.
What's a go-to movie that you could just put in at any time and just kind of be transported into this world and kind of forget all of your daily tasks, all this stress that's going on in your lives? What is a movie that you could just put in and just be happy?
Happy and transported. Oh man. It's Pitch Perfect. It just is. It's Pitch Perfect. You know, we got Anna Kendrick, we got Brittany Snow, Rebel Wilson is sadly in it, and also Adam Devine is in the movie. But you know, you gotta deal with a few negatives to get to the positives. It's just so good. It's so catchy with all the tunes. Even the second movie is like when Haley Steinfeld comes in there. God, man, when tomorrow comes, I'll be on my own. You know, it's just at the end of the day, it's Pitch Perfect. I could watch that right now.
The first one, not like the second or the third. I haven't even seen the third one. I mean,
I've seen them all in theaters, and it was sad knowing that the trilogy was over because they wrap it up. I don't even remember how they wrap it up, but it starts to like some spy shit comes into it randomly. But yeah, it's great. The first one is just so good. Jesse, you know, at the end.
I don't know. No, I haven't. I've only
seen
Jesse.
Nate knows what I'm talking about because I did this during his Pitch Perfect lip sync battle. thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's great. I just don't understand why she doesn't watch movies.
All right. Well, Nate, what's a movie that never fails to make you happy?
You don't like movies?
I had a couple, but because John kind of referenced one with the whole of this, I'm not
Throw it in the
oven.
God.
I'm going with American Graffiti. That is just one that I can pop in
never
at
seen it.
any time. It's got classic 50s, 60s music, and it's just about these 4 high school friends. 2 of them are getting ready to go to college, and they have one last hurrah, and all 4 of them go off on their own specific storylines, and it's just overall fun. Just one kid who's trying to find the woman who like mouths "I love you" to him. Another one just hangs out with this pretty girl all night, but he's a nerd, and so he's trying to like win her over, type of thing. Just all these different characters. A young Ron Howard, like a very, very young Ron Howard, and Richard Dreyfuss, and Harrison Ford. Like, there's some big names in it. So, yeah, American Graffiti. It's just one of those ones. I look at the cover of it, and I'm just like, you know what? There's nothing bad about this movie at all. Like, I can just sit there and just be immersed.
And it was just re-released in theaters like 2 weeks ago too.
Yeah,
There was like some like the anniversary screening of it. Yeah, that's a great movie. I remember you showing that movie to me when I was I think we were back in college, one of the apartments, and yeah, it's just a great movie that kind of just showcases what it's like to transition from college or high school. I think.
Yeah, directed by George Lucas, produced by Francis Ford Coppola. Like, it's a big, it's got a lot behind it. And the only reason that Francis Ford Coppola did it, I think, was like a favor to George Lucas so that his name would get more funding. So that they could actually get it going. So
I remember hearing about that. Yeah. Great picks.
Love
yeah.
it.
American Graffiti, The Pitch Perfect, the first one, apparently.
The first one.
John.
I'd say that at least the first 2 films are worth watching back to back.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah. Of course, anytime.
My pick is, I think it's a movie that John hasn't even seen yet, but I know it's a movie that Nate's seen, but it's My Neighbor Totoro. I mean, this movie makes me so fucking happy. It's just like the animation, the music, the innocence. It's 86 minutes. It's just a perfect movie with this big fat little creature that just likes to sit there and do nothing and growl. And it's just
Totoro.
It is the movie that makes me the happiest for sure. So I've seen it. Apparently, I've only seen it twice on Letterboxd, but I think I've seen it maybe 3 or 4 times in total. But it's a movie that I don't even own, and I would love to pick it up at some point because it is just it's my favorite Studio Ghibli, and I can't wait for the next Studio Ghibli that just got released at TIFF, The Boy and the Heron or something like that.
Yep, The Boy and the Heron. And I hope that I want that to be my number 1. Like, I'm hoping that it's amazing. And
he has one more movie. He's 80-something years old, and he just came out with apparently his last movie that just premiered at TIFF, and it has like a 4.3 on Letterboxd already. People say it's incredible, and this is the movie that he should go out on. So I can't wait to check it out this winter or this fall, whenever it comes out in theaters near us. So yeah, perfect. Okay, just wanted to ask you those 2 little questions here, kind of kickstart the little movie discussion that we're about to have. So yeah, all right, perfect.
Thank you for that, Ducky. So with that
Quack.
behind us, why don't we move on to some new releases? What's the number of the day, Ducky? Is it 3?
Well, now
7.
I gotta get 7, 3.
I think it's 3.
Today's number is
6.
6.
Come on. Oh, there's
Sorry,
no way
guys.
it's 6.
Swirl the balls.
Swirl the numbers.
Swirl the numbers. I
What
hope he's
could it
doing
be?
okay. I'm kind of worried.
I think he's alive, so that means he's okay. I mean, the
He
man's like
stopped doing
92
the weather
years old.
report, the number of the day, David Lynch Theater on YouTube, but you haven't seen a video since like December of 2020.
He's probably writing a masterpiece.
Yeah.
He's probably
there is a rumor that he is working on a secret project right now, and that he was seen out in LA filming something.
Ooh,
Who knows?
probably
Are you
filming
sure it wasn't
himself,
just
too.
like him on the sidewalk with a cow?
It very much could be,
Because
I don't know.
that's like a masterpiece in his eyes, and he's done that already. So maybe he
Yep.
upgraded to like an ox
Who knows?
or a
Who
horse.
knows?
I
No,
don't know.
Nobody ever knows what David Lynch is doing in his day. He might be just
I don't think he
building
does.
a urinal. So who knows?
I like to keep it that way. I don't want to know what he's up to until I see it, you know? But yeah, all right, new releases. There's been some good stuff over the last couple weeks. I've seen a fair amount of things. I haven't seen everything. But I will say one of the movies that we're going to talk about tonight is something that I accidentally went to the theater a week before and thought I was seeing it, when in reality I ended up seeing Golda with Helen Mirren instead.
Jesus Christ.
I thought that this movie, I'll just go ahead and throw it up here. It's Bottoms was playing on like, I think it was like August 24th. It didn't actually come out until the 31st. So I was sitting in a theater and realized it was actually a screening for Strays, because the Bottoms trailer played. And I was like, wait, hold on, what's happening here? And granted, I also drove an hour to see this. So I watched Golda and then drove home in just pretty much feeling shame the entire time. But regardless, I did end up seeing Bottoms with Rachel Sonnett from The Idol, and you know, she had a big hand in making this movie. I'm pretty sure she was, I'm not a co-director, but she was definitely a co-writer. I think she was a producer on this movie.
She co-wrote the movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for popping in and saying that, Spencer, and correcting me. But yeah, it's basically just like a really, really unconventional. Neither of you guys have seen this movie?
No.
What
No.
the fuck? What? I can't believe you didn't at least go out of your way to see it. I'm very surprised.
It comes to VOD this week. Like, I think it comes out on Tuesday on VOD, September 22nd. So I will definitely check it out, because I hear it's basically a raunchy live action cartoon where all the adult males basically don't take off their football pads throughout the whole movie. Like
The whole movie.
Yeah.
They're in their football pads.
It's
And
just a complete satire of high school comedies, and they throw Fight Club into the mix.
Yeah, it's very unconventional. You have Rachel Sonnett. You have a bunch of other actors that I haven't seen before, but they're all like very funny. They all have very quirky characteristics, especially this one with the hat on. She's a fucking psycho. She's like literally always cheering for someone to die, and it's hilarious. And for some reason, Marshawn Lynch is in this movie, who plays
Hell
like
yeah.
he's like
He's been popping up in these like comedic roles all of a sudden. Like I don't know if you guys watch those Netflix TV show. It's with Will Arnett, and he improvs the whole thing, like detective something, where he goes and investigates cases, but it's all improv, and they have no idea what they're about to say. They always have one guest with them. Like Kamal Nanjiani is one of them, but they had Marshawn Lynch as one one of the guests, and he had to go along and improv with Will Arnett throughout all these cases and stuff. But he's been popping up as these like side characters and supporting roles for the last couple of years. It's kind of odd.
His only line is just, "I'm just doing this so that I don't get fined."
That is his like famous line. Yeah,
That's his only thing. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Not only is he like he was a very good football player, and thank God they didn't give him the ball in 2014. The Patriots won the Super Bowl. But regardless of that, he's actually not a bad actor, especially in these comedic films where he basically plays a teacher that is in charge of the Fight Club and pretty much condones all this to happen. But I don't want to give too much away about this movie, but basically for me, like it, man, I just love Rachel Sonnett. It was not what I expected it to be. I didn't expect people to quite literally die in this movie, but I was sitting there kind of in disbelief and then also like hesitantly laughing throughout the movie as well. But I just need you guys to go see this movie because it's weird. I wasn't sure how to feel about it. Like when it was all done, I'm like, that's not what I like was expecting. but it's just like I haven't seen a movie like this, like a coming to age high school movie. It doesn't exist. So this is like
That's
unique.
what is essentially a Saturday morning or Saturday evening cartoon that's like in the trail of like Happy Tree Friends or something.
Yes.
As high school comedy.
It's basically these two girls and they just want to get laid and they go to great lengths to make that happen. I don't know if a Fight Club was the right choice, but that's what this movie was. So
Yeah,
it's
Worse
wild.
ways.
it's been blowing up though all over Letterboxd and Rotten Tomatoes. I think it has like a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, has a
Very high.
4.2 on Letterboxd, and it put it in like the top 250 of Letterboxd. Like it was like a couple columns below Fight Club. And so, like, the director of
Interesting
Bottoms,
enough.
like, retweeted that and being like, really? Okay. Like, we made this as a joke, but sure. So, I'm excited to check it out because of the tone is so over the top and so ridiculous and so not what we would expect from these types of movies. But if it's funny, then I'm all for it. And was it funny? I mean, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, no, like I said, I hesitantly laughed at certain times, but also there was like just outright laughter, just like where I couldn't control myself. There was also a guy behind me throughout the movie that was kind of talking, but the movie was good enough to where that didn't end up bothering me. So
Okay.
I think that Rachel Sonnet is basically going to be a superstar. I love her approach to comedy. And I'm surprised that this was kind of her first like foot in the door movie where she had a big part in making it.
Well, that director of Bottoms, I forget her name, but she and Rachel Sonnett, they collaborated on a short film called Shiva Baby, and then they adapted it into a feature-length movie, and that got a lot of attention back in 2019, I believe. And both of these ladies are 25, 24, and like they're super young, and they made these movies, and then they got the green light to do Bottoms. So this is like their second feature together, and yeah, Rachel Sonnett wrote it with the director. So they're a collaborator, and so it seems like they're kind of on track to keep making movies together. So
Okay.
you know,
I'm game.
maybe that's a good thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If it's funny, that's all that matters. And they're young filmmakers. I mean, they're younger than us, and they have a movie in the top fucking 5 of the box office. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, this was a really fun one. I just want to say go see it because the trailer I was expecting it to be different. They do wear their pads the whole movie. So just take that for what it is.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that actually comes to VOD on September 22nd. So if you're listening to this today on September 18th, it comes out literally tomorrow. Or if you're listening to this, it's probably already on VOD. So you guys can actually go and rent this movie and check it out for yourselves. And I'm sure that's what I'm going to do this week. So I will we'll update in the comments on what I thought.
Absolutely should. But
well, the only movie that I was able to watch in the past couple of weeks is a movie that I actually don't know if Nate ended up watching this or not. It just came out on Friday, September 15th. It premiered at the Venice Film Festival, and I think it was at a different film festival, but it is El Conde. Or El Conde. It's pronounced two different ways in different in whoever
It means
depending on whatever YouTube review you watch.
Yeah.
But did you end up watching this, Nate?
I did. I watched it yesterday.
Told you about it. You did
I
watch
watched
it
it yesterday. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Then perfect. Because I want to get into this one. John, you probably don't even know.
No idea what this is. No. No.
Okay. So like I said, this premiered at the Venice Film Festival. This is directed by Pablo Larraín, and if you don't know that name, he directed a film back in 2021 called Spencer.
Quack quack.
This is the Kristen Stewart, Diana Spencer movie. Do you know, John? You've seen that one at least.
Oh yeah.
Full episode on that.
I remember Spencer. Yes.
Well, basically, he made a black and white vampire film that came out on Netflix over the past weekend, and it is basically about a vampire if he was a war leader. So it kind of reimagines history as if this vampire has been around for 250 years and has gone through all these wars, has gone through all these tragedies, and has just kept living and kind of reincarnated in himself. And he's a vampire throughout this whole time. And it's shot in black and white. And Nate, back me up on this because I don't know. I only found this out after I watched this movie, but this is intended to be a fucking satire. It's a comedy.
And I can feel that, especially getting towards the third act. You feel it.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
there's moments in this, because I went into this movie thinking, okay, it's a black and white vampire film from Pablo Larraín. It's going to be probably very, the cinematography is going to be very intense, very cool. And yeah, it is. But when I was watching this movie, I'm like, wait, why am I laughing?
Yeah.
Why is this funny all of a sudden? And there's a lady that kind of narrates the movie in the first half of the movie, and it's in English, and the movie is a Spanish film. And then the English lady shows up in the third act, and when it's revealed of who that lady is, I just started laughing so hard.
Like, why? Why did this need to happen? But I'm fine with it.
Thank you. Because yeah, it was so weird. It was so strange. It features some of the greatest black and white cinematography I've seen depicting vampires. Like the vampire like stalking scenes of him going out hunting at night during the city landscapes. It's so terrifying, and it really kind of illustrates like, okay, vampires are fucking terrifying. Like they will gut you and eat your heart and put it in a blender. Like they will pull no punches. So Nate, what did you think of this fucking weird movie here?
It's so bizarre, and like you said, it's a Spanish film, and they talk very fast, so that was kind of frustrating to me, trying to like absorb everything that was going on. But yeah, it felt like those scenes you were talking about where he's going and doing the hunt. It felt like that's what Jack the Ripper would have done, like stalking around in the middle of the night and then just attacking his victims without being known. And just knowing that this frail old man who wants to die then just will walk out of his barn and then just take flight. And it does look very cheesy, but I appreciate that they did it probably practically with cranes and stuff like that.
And wire work. Because this poster illustrates of the satire of this, like the whole thing. Like it's so weird.
There's a likable character of I forget what her name is, but she's the nun.
The nun, yeah. And she's basically chosen to basically go into this family, this vampire family, and she's a nun chosen from the church to go and kind of take the demon out of this person and kind of get to the bottom of it. And
that's what the belief was at the time, was like that a vampire had the devil in him from at some point in his like military career. And they talk about it very literally, like the demon gets into an open cut or something that he had on the battlefield, and that's how someone can get possessed. But it is very satirical, because you have this guy who's going out and killing people, but then you also have these 5 children. They're adults, but they're all trying to figure out who gets his money. And the nun's there trying to figure out where the money came from, and she plays a different part in it. And it's so bizarre. And now that you say satire, I see it. Like that's all I can imagine it now, because it has serious moments, but if you listen to the dialogue, it's a lot of them just bitching about getting their money. And this guy's a vampire. He's been doing this for 250 years. Like, how come he hasn't died yet? And it's just there's a bunch of different things branching off.
And just like the twists and turns throughout the movie. I mean, like when you have like his right hand man and the twist with his storyline and like
Theodore,
yeah. And the whole third act is just absolutely ridiculous. It goes to a point where you're just like, okay, wait, what the fuck is happening? And like there's so much of wire work and vampire stuff. It's definitely an entertaining film. It's probably one of my favorite little Netflix original releases of the past, I don't know, couple of years. Because how are you going to market this movie? You aren't. You're just going to silently kind of release it over the weekend like they did. And just the people that'll follow like the film festivals and like the directors and everything, they'll find it. But I'm very curious to see like what a general audience member felt watching this movie and just like discovering it's like, oh, Conde, okay. And it starts out fully in English and then it kind of dives into like the Spanish dialogue and everything. But I thought it was really cool, like when they were kind of going through his life, like he was a French revolutionist and like kind of going through all of like the history and how he lived through all of it. And I thought that aspect was really cool. And there are scenes where there are some disturbing, shocking, violent images that really remind you how terrifying these vampire creatures can really be. And you haven't seen vampires really depicted like that. We just had a release of the Last Voyage of the Demeter, and that kind of showcased the Nosferatu character. But this is like a real world vampire shit, and it's terrifying, and it's also hilarious at times for some reason. So I do recommend this movie. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. That's like a B plus to me. I do recommend this one if you have a Netflix subscription. And the cinematography, the black and white cinematography is out of this world, of him flying through the nighttime of the cities and everything. It's so fucking cool. So highly recommend just for that alone. But I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
I did as well. Yeah, it was just unique, and that's what I like to see, is just not just a stereotypical, oh, he's a vampire, blah 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 blah, but the way they explain, like, he goes through so much shit and then he has to fake his death so that he can. And like, they even have a funeral where people are walking up to the casket and like saying their piece, spitting on him, but the whole time the camera just sticks on him and his eyes are opening and like looking at the people, and then he shuts.
That's weird. Yeah.
And they just kind of make fun of the vampire trope. And very realistic. Like, I could imagine if Stalin was secretly a vampire type of thing.
Yeah.
That's essentially what that is. But then you, like you said, you get introduced to a character that's just like, oh yes, I am this person, and I'm like, why?
Like, what?
Why?
It takes a turn, but highly recommend. If you have Netflix,
it's good. And the end is really cool too, where they kind of stuff resolves, and just the two boats and whatnot at the end. I just thought it was funny. I was like, okay, yeah, of course this would happen.
Yeah. So yeah, John, I don't know if we sold you watching this movie or not, but I don't think you'd be interested in it, so I never even mentioned for you to even watch it.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm kind of on a vampire kick after Last Voyage, and this sounds like, if it kind of sounds like, you know how in like Wonder Woman, where she was just a part of history and she like doesn't age. This is like that in like war times, but as if she was like a vampire.
But you see him age.
So, like,
you see him young, and
you see him go through certain moments in history, and him finding like the one country that doesn't really have a leader, and he's like, oh, okay, I will thrive here literally in Chile.
That's basically it.
Yeah, it sounds wild, dude, especially for Netflix.
But
like that does not seem like it seems like a Criterion release or like an HBO
this
release.
is basically Netflix fuck you money. And basically Pablo Larraín, he came out with Spencer, the Diana Spencer movie with Kristen Stewart, and that movie has some incredible cinematography, and it's a really well done film. And this is him essentially just like, all right, I kind of have this vampire concept that I'd love to kind of apply my signature tropes with, so let me shoot this in black and white and have some incredible imagery here. But the thing is, I wish I knew that this was a full-on satire before I watched it, because it took me at least until the midway point of the movie to kind of fully embrace, oh, this is not really taking itself that seriously. Because when you watch it, you're like, oh, this is a very serious, kind of brooding, dark, black and white, dark, violent little vampire film. But then there's these moments of like utter ridiculousness that it's just like, wait, really? This is what this plot is? Okay, this is kind of funny. So it just keeps escalating, and so it's one that I don't feel like people really even know is out there, and so that's why I wanted to throw it on this episode, because it's worth watching if you have Netflix. I think it's a little long, 2 hours. The midpoint, you kind of are like, all right, where is it going? But then once it kind of kicks in, it's like, okay, I get it. This is entertaining. So El Conde, if you have Netflix, I would recommend it. It's a fun little watch. So
it sounds like a good balance to me. Like, just final thoughts on not seeing it, but I feel like vampires, if you take it too seriously, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, it's gonna be terrible. Last Voyage. Okay, well,
I didn't like it.
That's fair.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I've watched it since we did the episode, and
I really liked it. I'm not gonna, but I mean,
I think the ending is the best part. Just it felt very much like a Marvel movie or something.
The ending is pretty existential.
So I was like,
so
all
Last
right,
Voyage.
I'll take it.
Yeah. But
interesting.
That's the only new release movie that I really watched aside from Theater Camp. I mean, that was a recent release on Hulu, but El Conde. But The movie that I didn't see that I think you guys watched was The Nun II. Is that correct here?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Nun II, which I would argue to say that we didn't need a first one and we didn't need any of the Annabelle movies, but here we are with I think like the fourth or fifth spinoff from the Conjuring universe. Nate, I know that you saw this twice. Was that because it's the sequel?
No.
Okay.
I saw it twice because when I was sending a picture to you guys walking into the theater going, oh, look, this
It's
is
the
the
Nun.
movie I'm going to see. I ended up walking into the wrong theater and I sat there for 20 minutes while there's just a black screen and music playing.
Terrible.
And so I'm thinking there's like a delay or whatnot. And so I take that chance to go to the bathroom one last time. And then as I'm walking back, I went, wait a minute, did I just walk out of 8? And sure enough, I did. And I walk into 7 and the movie's like 30 minutes in. And I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I paid for this ticket. So I sat down and I was all pissy and huffing
Don't tell me you
puffing.
bought another ticket. Tell me you just waited and went to the next showtime without buying a second ticket. You didn't do that because you're too much of a nice person, and that's okay. And I respect you for it. And that's giving money to the industry, which desperately needs it. Okay. The Nun II, Taissa Farmiga. I think it's her. Is it Vera Farmiga's daughter, or is it her
Sister.
like?
Sister.
No
Younger
way.
sister. Yep.
God, it must be like a lot younger because that's crazy.
Yeah,
But
I think it's like 15 years or something like that. 15, 20 years.
I'll take your word for it. I still think you're wrong, but I'll take your word for it.
You're not, I'm not wrong. I watched Bates Motel with Vera Farmiga. I know what that's about.
But I've seen Taissa Farmiga in American Horror Story, and she's one of the best parts of like seasons 1 and 3. And
Well, she's the best part of this.
She is the best part of this.
Best part of this.
She's one hell of a fucking nun. Like if you ask me, she can just handle anything. You know, she's got like she reminds me of Vera Farmiga's character in The Conjuring, and I think that's very.
I can't wait for that combo when they
both
go up. It's like,
God, that would be insane. I think the weakest part of this movie is her co-star. Sadly, the one who just kind of tags along. The sister from Euphoria that's just kind of there with her.
See, the thing for me, and this might blow people away, but the weak part for me was Valak, like the nun character.
Oh, that is Valak, isn't it? Yeah.
And I was just like, because I think all of the like silhouettes of this character are creepier than when she's present.
Sure.
Or it is present, because there's some weird zoom ins in the final act of this one where it almost looks like it's got a weird grin on its face. And I'm like, this isn't scary. And then it ended up feeling like this might sound very weird to you guys, but like if you ever played old PlayStation games where you hit the final boss and you're like in this big open room and they're like throwing obstacles at you and you have to avoid them.
Sure.
To like get to that. That's what the end of this felt like to me. The spikes coming up, and I'm like, I don't believe this. I don't.
Yeah,
believe it.
I think that I think that the lead up was actually very well done. Like you're still in this horror movie where they throw those jump scares at you. It's not like smart horror. I think the thing that saved it was I did really like the story. Like there was some very scary moments and scary imagery. But like there's like 5 or 6 like just blatant jump scares in this movie, which like sure you got me, but that's just because I'm mainstream boy. It's like you could be smarter than that. And then at the end of the day, they hit you with, like you said, the kind of PlayStation 2 boss battle at the end, which cool. I feel like that's what all these crazy horror movies are trying to go for. Like that's literally what Pope's Exorcist did at the end. It was like copy and paste that movie to a certain extent. Which I don't know if you saw that, but it's like just a boss battle where you're basically fighting a demented demon or someone that's possessed. It's like the same thing. But the person who does save it, just Taissa. I mean, she's just awesome. So good in this movie. It's crazy.
Maybe it's a testament to the Farmiga sisters just taking over the Conjuring universe. I mean, they're
so good. They're so good.
What's her name? Who's Lorraine Warren?
Vera
Farmiga.
Vera Farmiga, yeah. And then you have the younger sister in the Nun franchise.
Yeah, and she's the best part. And this movie, it has so like jump scares galore. even if it's done badly, a jump scare is still going to get me. It's a loud noise with a quick cut.
Sure.
Like that would get
That's what they do. They
arguably
work.
anyone. And but this movie is basically, you can overcome anything as long as you stick to your faith. And the whole thing, because they get into like the Saint Lucy and these eyes and stuff, which was very creepy, like thinking about it. But then I thought they're really reaching here to make this like scary, but also like spiritual. And
it got like some Tomb Raider vibes, or like even like Thanos getting Infinity Stones at times with the item that they were after, the MacGuffin item that they needed to take down Valak. And it was just like it took leaps and bounds and just went for it, instead of being like, this movie was not grounded at all. It was just like a crazy nun movie. And when you actually do see the nun, she looks pretty bad. Like, what does it say? None if this was none. Lol, dude. That's pretty funny. I haven't seen the reviews on this movie. I know that when I heard Nate saw it twice, I thought it was because he liked it, when in fact it was because he missed the first 30 minutes.
OCD. I have to see the opening, otherwise, what do I know?
That's only 36 reviews though, 2.4 on Letterboxd. I mean, 36 fans, does that mean that 36 people liked it?
Or 36 people rated
no idea. 36 people enjoyed it. Maybe 3 and higher. 36. I have no idea.
I would say 36 fans went on the Letterboxd and gave the Nun II
at least a 3. Probably at least a 3, I would think. But
I don't know. There's a lot of 5s right there.
That's crazy. First of all, it's definitely not a 5 movie.
If you like the Conjuring universe, give it a watch. You'll get all the stereotypical scares. You see Valak, but like we had said already, it's Taissa Farmiga. She's a very believable nun, and you sympathize with her, and she's just a fantastic actress. So
she's not in enough. I need her to be in just more stuff. I'm trying to think. She was in what, like, it was that Emma Watson movie. Wasn't she in that bad movie I didn't like back in like 2013?
The Bling Ring.
The Bling Ring. Wasn't she in that? I think she was in that. That was terrible. It's like the only
also in the Final Girl. Like
another horror movie. That was a great movie. I like that. But
that
like,
was a very good
there's
movie.
just very few films that I've seen her in, and she was only in like 2 or 3 seasons of American Horror Story. So she feels typecasted, but I think she has the ability to go beyond that. But The Nun, I gave it 3.5. I actually thought it was a lot of fun. Today, I actually moved it up like 20 spots on my list, just purely based off entertainment factor. It's got a 74% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes versus a 50 critical. So I think I'm kind of right in that tier along with the audience. It's a spooky movie. Like, it is. Sorry.
It's a spooky movie.
It's pretty spooky.
Yeah, I think I gave it a 3. Like, and that's still good, but like, I'm not gonna seek it out type of thing. Like, I enjoyed it while I was watching it. There's actually some characters in there that you care about. And
from an outsider's perspective, the only thing that I've heard about this movie that like is a huge positive in terms of like the entire Conjuring universe and all of the Conjuring movies, this one scene, apparently, the magazine rack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does that stick out to you guys?
Well
it's
done
cool.
scene.
Yeah. It's very cool.
They're saying like that scene alone is like one of the best in the entire Conjuring universe, like moments. So I'm like, okay, so that alone, maybe I'll go and check it out. But like, it's going to be the thing where it's whenever it comes to Max or HBO Max, I'll check it out. Yeah.
One stipulation for that scene: they still do a jump scare.
Yeah, you know it's coming. So it's like, okay.
It's inevitable for sure. And I mean, you do have the addition of Storm Reed, and she's a pretty talented up and coming actress. And she was great in Missing.
Because she isn't. She was great in Missing.
There was some marketing.
Hold on.
There was some marketing material they used for Missing with Storm Reed that was terrible. But yeah, the movie itself, her performance was fine. Sure, yeah, she's fine.
No. I can. She sucks. That's my opinion. She sucks.
Okay, fine, fair enough. Yeah,
I'm just gonna leave it at that. She's a bad actress.
But don't go to watch her. Go to get plenty of jump scares, and Thais Farmiga can act around everyone on the screen.
And pretty good child acting from the little board
And
school
it's
girls.
from the director of The
thing to say, but-
Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It, and The Curse of
Okay.
La Llorona.
Very disappointing.
So he's only done the Conjuring universe type of movies.
Maybe
so
switch it
far.
up a little bit, buddy.
We'll see.
Michael
we'll see.
Chavez.
But if you guys, sounds like you guys gave it some pretty positive reviews. But
Yeah, it wasn't
It's
terrible,
nothing
so-
spectacular by any means. Like, I would rather watch the first 2 Conjuring movies on repeat. But
Oh my god,
I've never
ties
seen the
in.
first Nun.
You don't need to.
I've also never seen Annabelle
creation, recreation, or
3.
whatever.
No, I saw
Comes
Creation.
Home.
Comes Home, sure.
Is there
Comes Home is
3 Annabelle
creepy.
movies? Is there
Never
3
seen that
Annabelle
one.
movies?
I've never seen that one. I think that was the director of, or he was the screenwriter of the first It, and then he made his directorial debut with one of the Annabelle movies, The Comes Home, I guess. So,
There was like one good one there. I think the second one was
Creation.
good.
the Creation, yeah,
Creation,
that was
that one
David
was
Sandberg.
Orphanage.
Yeah, he did Lights
Yeah.
Out. Yeah, that was a very solid film.
And it was creepy too. But
Yeah, and the first one was
Yeah,
pretty bad. But I don't know.
That's
I'm kind of
not-
done with the Conjuring movies, but if this pops up on HBO Max in the October season, I will check it out. But I'm glad that it's not as bad as it probably was expecting to be. I don't know. So
yeah. I think they
Sounds like
went
it was
for it,
better
and it ended
than
up being good.
expectations.
So
Yeah.
yeah. But with that being
that's it.
said,
Yeah, that's it.
yeah, that's gonna do it for new release. There's more movies out there, so I'd say go to the theater if you haven't seen
Mhm.
some of the movies that are out there. There's some bad ones too. Don't get me wrong, but real quick, would you guys go see that other horror movie? What any word on that? If that's good or not? It's
What
the
is-
House on Haunting in Venice or something.
Oh no,
isn't that
that's,
like
that's the
Death
Kenneth
on the
Branagh,
Nile and stuff like that?
Agatha Christie movie. Yeah, he did
Oh,
the
okay.
Murder on Orient Express, Death on the Nile.
Is it
and
like a
then-
mystery type of film? Like not scary.
This one is it's an adaptation of the Agatha Christie book or novel that was a horror version of the mystery.
Oh,
And apparently this movie is very spooky. It is very much in tune with the Spooktober vibes. So
Okay.
I've heard it's good. It has like a 78% certified fresh rating. It's going to come on Hulu and HBO Max, I guarantee, in 4 or 5 weeks.
Mhm.
So I
Like
mean,
the
if you
other two.
want to just hold out for that, I mean, I'm sure it'll be on a streaming site very soon. But I do hear good things about it. And Kenneth Branagh, he can be good. I mean, he made Belfast, and I
Never
very
saw
much
that.
enjoyed it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Belfast is so good.
It's
Yeah.
charming.
So good.
It's just a charming little movie. But then he made Death on the Nile right after that, and yeah.
I just saw Gal Gadot and I was like, don't care. Sorry.
Yeah. Army Hammer, yeah. So
But moving on here to our next segment, which was a film that I chose for a first time watch.
First time watchers, are you watching with us? We're those movie dudes, and we about to discuss another movie that we've never seen. So grab some popcorn and pull up a seat.
Okay. So, whoa, I don't know why that brings that out in me, but it does. So here we are. But first time watches, everybody. Gonna go ahead and add this to the stage.
Oh, the Nun II.
Oh. Oh. We did My Cousin Vinny, the 1992 comedy film with Ralph Macchio. Was he in it? Hold on.
He's the guy
Yes.
on the left.
I got it right. I got something right. Let me go ahead and Marissa Tomei. Freaking
Ugh.
Marissa Tomei, baby.
Joe Pesci, man. Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci as a bad lawyer that failed the bar 6 times. Here's the thing. My mom bought me this movie like 5 years ago, and I never watched it along with a lot of the other movies she's bought me. Since then, I have watched like Romancing the Stone. I've watched this one. God, there was another. Weekend at Bernie's. That was another one that she got me.
Yeah.
All those movies, really enjoyed them. And I should just listen to her because she does have sometimes good opinions on films, especially when they're in like the early 90s, mid 80s. And I think this one, no exception. It's 2 New Yorkers accused of murder in rural Alabama while on their way back to college, call in the help of one of their cousins, a loudmouth lawyer with no trial experience, that being Joe Pesci, alongside his beautiful co-star, Marissa Tomei.
My God.
Yeah, it's almost not
Wow.
fair. It's almost not, and I don't want to make this the central point of the conversation, which I very well could, but
Oh, I might.
No, this is. I saw this movie.
I just want to say you're welcome. First of all,
No.
Holy
I
crap!
saw this movie maybe 10 years at this point. It was back in like the first apartment. I put this movie on one night by myself, and this kick-started my obsession with Marissa Tomei. And it's come up many times throughout Those Movie Dudes podcast archives. I've talked about
loving Marissa Tomei
so many times, and now you have finally seen. I mean, the movie that she won the Oscar for, My Cousin Vinny. You see my obsession with Marissa Tomei.
She's just so. She's not only is she good, but like whoever her stylist was, hope she got the Oscar too, because those 90s outfits were just very flattering.
Just very much from New York,
just the accent, like
Dia.
What are you doing,
baby Dia?
And she knows so much about cars.
It's not physically possible for a double axle on the back of this car that didn't come out until 1967. Boom. It's like
and the reason why I wanted to watch this is because like NFL season just started. One of the most famous quotes from Bill Belichick is, I'm not the genius of the football world as Mona Lisa Vito is in the car world." And this was happened during a press conference during the Deflategate thing. He's like, "I don't know, I'm not Mona Lisa Vito of football." So that was just something really funny, little tidbit there. But
I love that her name is also Mona Lisa Vito.
I'm not Mona Lisa Vito.
Mona Lisa Vito.
Hey Lisa, come back here, Lisa.
Yeah, it's a hysterical movie. Like,
wait. So you'd never seen this movie before?
No, it's no. I haven't
Never.
seen this. No.
Nate, have you seen this before? Never.
No.
Okay, so I was the only one going into this as a rewatch. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so take it away, John. What do you think?
I just think from the very beginning, like the opening just sequence of these dudes, they're leaving college or something, and they accidentally take a can of tuna, and then somehow they get, what was it? Was it tuna? I don't know.
It's good protein. Yeah, we need protein. Yeah, come on.
We need protein.
Yeah,
he's like,
he didn't need the bean to
we
steal
got
it.
beans. Yeah, we're in a convertible. Who cares if we fart?
It was just so ridiculous because I didn't expect the movie to go this way, but then they get accused of murder after just accidentally taking some tuna that probably cost like 69 cents. And how the Southern cops just rope him into it and force a confession out of him. And here comes freaking Joe Pesci out of nowhere to quote unquote save the day. Just hysterical. There's so many like weird characters in this movie, like the trial lawyer that they get from the Alabama town that's the most nervous trial lawyer you've ever seen. That scene where he just stuttered and couldn't, because you didn't expect it. He seemed like he had his shit together. It's like, hold on. What's going on
down
here?
and goes, "You're fired."
The kid's like, seriously? He's like, well, I'm improving.
Like, okay, he's crying. I got it. Oh my gosh. There's some just good. The judge, I wanted to rip his face off. He was such an asshole. Like,
the judge was perfectly cast in this role. I think he was Herman Munster in the Munsters.
Yeah, he was Judd in Pet Sematary.
He was in Pet Cemetery. Exactly. I knew.
Yes, that's where I recognize.
He's got a face that you'll recognize.
Fred Gwynn.
When you see it. Yeah,
that's his name, Fred Gwynn.
Yeah. He never likes what Joe Pesci's wearing. He's always got a problem with it.
But
he's like, you're not going to wear that in my courthouse.
The thing is, though, his character has such a good arc because it gets to the point where Joe Pesci eventually gets that like 70s like prom suit. And he's like, that's not appropriate. He goes, would you rather have me come in wearing the leather that you've already expressed dislike for, or this?
I wore this for you.
Yeah, I wore this for you. So,
and I got a nice suit, but it's covered in mud. So it's either that or this. Can we get started? It's like, oh my god.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. What? Like, he goes from the worst lawyer ever to like Tom Cruise in what's
Rain
the one?
Man?
Yeah, A Few Good Men.
Yeah,
like
perfect. Just, you can't handle the truth. But then once she gets on the stand. And they're like having this fight, but there's so much sexual tension. You can just feel it. And they just
thought that Joe Pesci and Marissa Tomei would be a good match, because I didn't. And
they were perfect in this movie together. And exactly, like you see that on the poster. Yeah, Joe Pesci and Marissa Tomei. Okay, how is that going to work? And works so well, and just they are so perfect for each other. The way they call each other out all the time, they're always bickering, and like her whole monologue, like, my biological clock is ticking, and he's like, I have
wanna get
so much
married."
shit on my mind, like I can't deal with your biological clock at this moment. Like,
At this
whole-
rate, I'm never gonna get married.
yeah, it just, and of course, like, I love that the ending is them just driving off bickering about their wedding plans. Like,
Yeah.
just like it's gonna continue with them. They're so
Maybe
perfect
I don't
for
want to
each
marry
other.
you now.
And like the whole scene with the suit, like when they're stuck in the mud and he's trying to pull it or get the car out, and he flings the bag out and it lands in the mud. He's like, honey, what was in that bag? Oh yeah, I got your suit dry clean. I thought it would be nice for your trial day. And then he immediately ruins it. Like, it's such a nice gesture, but yeah, of course he ruins it. And then of course she's the key to letting these two innocent boys off, like having her little picture that she's just taken throughout the trip, and then it has the tire tracks.
Her cute
It's,
little Polaroid camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you
And-
recognize this picture? Of course I do. You know I took it.
because this movie's always been argued as like, oh, it has one of the most overrated Oscar wins with Marissa Tomei. No,
Not now.
hard pass.
I see
hardly
it, and
no.
I do not agree. That is like she
I'd have
just
to see
plays
what else
this
is-
New York character.
She was perfect in this movie. Like, just every scene that she was in, she stole. And then Joe Pesci was incredible as this bumbling like lawyer that's just like a fish out of water in this southern town with his hard Brooklyn accent and his mannerisms just not fitting whatsoever, like with the whole grits situation at the diner and
It's
everything.
another
I mean,
great scene in the courthouse.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
he's like,
And that's how he
that's like the
clues it,
first
yeah.
time he gets somebody and like gets the upper hand with one of the
Yeah.
witnesses, where he's like, where the guy was like, oh yeah, I just cooked it really fast that day. He's like, any Southerner would know. Well, he didn't say like that.
he
but
knows he's
Any-
a
any
master.
Southerner
already.
would know.
to
Grits take at least 2 minutes.
Great.
Yeah, no.
What
it's
sold
just
me
perfect.
what sold me on Joe Pesci as this character was when he first meets the two kids and they're in jail. But his cousin is asleep, and so he's talking to the other kid, and the kid thinks he's about to get like molested or something because he's like, hey, I don't
The
care what
typical
you say, it's
prison
your
thing.
ass, not mine. And he's just like, oh no, I don't like where this is going. And then when he jumps down, he's like, Vinny, how you doing? He goes, oh, this is Vinny.
It's his
And
lawyer.
That's a testament, I think, to just how razor sharp this script is. Like, this, watching this movie, I was just kind of taken aback a little bit, just being like, wow, this script is so fucking sharp and just on it. It has so many jokes left and right. Like, within every 10 minutes, there was some sort of chuckle out of me. Like, just like, okay, wow, like that was hilarious. Like, even the scene where like they're getting hustled by those pool guys. Like, oh yeah, they owe me $200. And like the way he goes up, like he's just so beaten down, he's covered in mud, and he's going back to his hotel, and he just full on like throws his whole body at him. Like, it just knocks
Tackles him and
out.
then takes the money and
Takes
just
the
walks.
money. It's
Come
just
on, I know that's a
what
20
was
with a
that
bunch of ones.
scene?
Dude,
It
also
was
when that
so
was the scene I
funny.
was just gonna say is like he's outsmarts these guys at every chance he gets when he's like, that's that's just a 20 with a bundle of ones. He's like, no, it's not. He's like, you
He just
sure?
goes
You want
back
to
in
show
his
me?
car
Fan him out.
and
Fan him
leaves.
out.
Yeah,
He's
fan
like,
him out and he
"Shit,"
just
and, like,
walks,
walks
off.
away.
Yeah.
It's just great. Like the whole town is against him throughout this whole movie, whether they want to admit it or not. Like he can't sleep. Like he's falling asleep in the courthouse because there's pigs and trains on different schedules. And like, I just, that was just they thought of everything to just try to fuck with him, but he was too smart, even though he's the dumbest freaking lawyer you've ever seen in a movie.
Right. Yeah.
It
The
got me.
scene that's playing behind John is one of my favorites. Like that's one of my favorite outfits because this is
Yeah.
where she does like the whole "I'm
That
never
was
gonna
the
get
whole-
married."
My biological clock scene. Yeah, for sure.
She's
Yeah, oh
stomping
my
her feet, and it's
God.
like
Yeah.
because she's just as much getting these kids off as he is. He's the lawyer, but she's the one reading the book when he's not there. And oh, you should look up all the laws because any info he has, you have to be shown it, and you have to, if you ask for it, it has to be given to you. And he's like, "Oh, I didn't know that."
It's like basic lawyer stuff. I was like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me?
Oh, she's a gem.
Yeah.
And I also just loved like how like little he knew about the law, and yet he was going in just so confident. And he just kept on making up all these names. Like, yeah, I'm Jimmy Gallo. Yeah, come on, look me up. Yeah, I'm in. Like, fax it. Go ahead, go. And he does every time. And he's like, Jimmy Gallo's dead. And like,
Yeah.
No, Jimmy Callow.
no, Jimmy Gallo with a C. Come on. And then like, okay, well, you got till 3 o'clock to win this case. So good luck. I'm gonna find out.
She's
And
also
he's
like
trying to
such a-
get out of the courthouse. He's like, all right,
Yeah.
thanks. Yeah,
And
see you
even
later."
though he's in a fight with his fiance, she's still making the call back to New York
Yes.
to vouch for him and say like, oh yeah, it's Jimmy Callow, and she got the faxes, the little twist at the end. But it's just this. When I watched this movie back in college 10 years ago, I liked it. I mean, I definitely enjoyed it, and I was kind of caught by surprise by what this movie really was, but a lot of it kind of just went over my head, and I didn't really think about it that much. But on this rewatch, I was laughing so hard. Like there's so many moments that just brought me such joy. And like, yeah, just like the misdirection, especially when he first meets Vinny and goes in the jail cell and like he's having that conversation with his friend. Like, it was just hilarious. And like, a lot of the scenes in the courtroom with the judge being like, why are you wearing that outfit in my courtroom? Like, just like the constant back and forth between them. It was just such a fun ride. So I honestly really, really love this movie on this rewatch, and was just reminded of just how brilliant the script is, how the performances are excellent. And yeah, Marissa Tomei, maybe it's people will argue that it's an overrated Oscar win. I hardly disagree. I very much disagree. Sorry. It is just, it's an incredible performance. She steals every scene that she's in and outstages Joe Pesci in one of the best performances of his career. So, I mean, it's just a great, hilarious little film. So I'm glad that you guys finally watched it for sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to look up who would she have gone up against.
That's
It's
the thing.
funny.
I don't know what the competition was back in 1992 when it came out.
I think okay, so it would have been the 1993 Oscar.
3 technically, yeah.
That always throws me off. Yeah, Marissa Tomei, My Cousin Vinny, she beat out Judy Davis for Husbands and Wives. No idea.
Never seen it. Okay.
Joan Plowright in Enchanted April.
Never heard of it.
Vanessa Redgrave in Howard's End.
Okay.
I've heard of that. Okay.
Miranda Richardson in Damage. Okay. Never heard of.
I don't
any
know what
of those
these movies are. So maybe this was just like I don't know.
Maybe this was just the well-known.
Yeah. I think it was just the perfect timing. Like she was just kind of sneaked in there, because if I'm looking at those, having known nothing about those movies,
I haven't even heard of those movies, and I'd say we're all pretty big cinephiles here. So that's kind of shocking. But no, she's incredible in this movie, Marissa Tomei. Yeah, it kickstarted my obsession with her.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I absolutely loved it. This being my first time seeing this movie, I'm kind of upset that I hadn't watched this in the past at some point, but I think that just from the very beginning, you said it, Spencer, but like fish out of water, these two New Yorkers thrown into Alabama, and it's just from the start, like they're just hysterical how they kind of interact with these Southerners, and they have a really solid character arc too in this comedy. Like they by leaps and bounds win this case at the end of the day, when at the very beginning it seemed like they had no chance. So I just really like the story. It was hilarious. I almost felt like just watching it again right when it was over. So this might be the best movie my mom has got me on Blu-ray.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I know.
Props to Steph.
I know.
Chef
if I had to rank
coming
them,
in hot.
Wow. It's up there. I'm gonna go 4.5 out of 5.
Okay.
It's a great comedy. Yes.
I'm just gonna match that because I also gave this a 4.5 out of 5. It went up a full star from when I last watched it. I gave it a 3.5. I looked at my Letterboxd grading. It gave it a 3.5 out of 5 last time I watched it. No, this bumped up to a 4.5. I loved watching this again and was laughing every 10 minutes, I would say. It's just a great movie, and if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend watching it, and these guys will be a testament to that because it's the first time watch. So
the two prisoners are the only people we don't see a lot of, but they're also in a courtroom and they can't talk. So
they take a back seat. Yeah.
Because they don't need to say much, because these Joe Pesci and Marissa Tomei carry the hell out of this film.
Yeah, they're not the reason we're here. We're here because of Yeah, Joe Pesci, Marissa Tomei.
And the other
Basically.
lawyer and the judge, and they're all great too. But
Yeah, he's all good.
Yeah, Nate, what'd you give this?
So I didn't give it a 4.5, and I feel kind of stupid that I didn't.
No,
But
it's your
it's
own
solid 4.
damn, no push-ups.
Just had
Okay.
so much fun. Marissa Tomei, like, I'm obsessed with her now. I feel like this would be a good character to have some sort of spin-off, not like a My Cousin Vinny, but have it called like Mona Lisa or something, and have her be a lawyer or something like that. I don't know, but I would love to see this character come back, and then just have like Joe Pesci in a nursing home.
Jesus Christ. I don't know if we need that.
Oh, Vinny. Oh, don't worry. I know you want to be at the case,
Them
but let me
bickering
take
at
this
a
one. Let
nursing
me
home.
take this one.
Yeah.
Where he's just all angry that he wants to be a part of this case, and then she's like, "No, let me handle it." But,
Yeah. She could
4 out
have.
of
She
5.
could have been the lawyer. Joe Pesci could have taken a back seat. You know.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, she came in the third act and basically did that. So
That is true. That's probably one of the most iconic scenes I've ever seen. It was that good. It was that good.
Stand, yeah.
Yeah.
And does this information sound valid? And it sounds pretty clean to me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And Bill Belichick is not the Mona Lisa Vito of the football world, according to him. So.
No, he is not.
But yeah, with all that being said, I do believe it's time to move on to our final segment of tonight's show.
Oh.
Would you guys happen to
Do we
be
not get to
prepared?
vote on next week's?
Oh my God. I'm so selfish. I am just
Wow.
awful. I'll leave. Let's do that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It is actually back to me, Ducky's picks. And I will say, because as you're listening, this episode does come out on Monday, September 18th. The next episode is October 2nd. You guys know what that means.
It's October.
It's Spooktober. Yeah.
Spooktober,
Spooktober
John.
season.
Jeez.
So we're
Spooktober
October.
season. Here we go. We got some horror movies coming up on the Those Movie Dudes podcast. Here we go. All right. So I kind of had to, take some liberties here.
Mhm.
I have 3 picks. 3 spooky little picks here. Only one of these picks is a film that none of us have seen before. It's a first time watch for all of us. The other 2 picks, it's a first time watch for one of you guys.
Okay.
So
It's not
the
me.
first movie, speaking of you, Nate, the first movie is a movie that you haven't seen, Nate, that John and I have seen, but this is a movie that I would
That's shocking.
love to revisit, especially during this time, Spooktober. It is a film that is currently streaming on Shudder. So if you have a Shudder subscription, you can watch this movie. It is called Mandy. It is a Nicolas Cage, neon, weird, dreamy, crazy horror film that's super disturbing, and it has one of his craziest kind of performances in the last couple of years. It has a 90-something% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a very surreal type of movie. So I would love to kind of revisit that one. So that is on the list here. The other movie is a movie that John hasn't seen, but it's a movie that Nate and I have watched. It's a movie that I've kind of been bugging John to watch in the last couple of years. It's called The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Ooh.
Oh, Spencer out here picking movies that I own on Blu-ray.
He has it on Blu-ray. Do you own Mandy? You don't
No,
own Mandy. No, you don't have Mandy.
We don't have to get into it, but I didn't like Mandy.
Exactly. So I saw your review. I saw my review. I'm like, okay, that might make for an interesting discussion, especially because Nate hasn't seen it. So Autopsy of Jane Doe, that's a movie that John hasn't seen, Nate and I have. I'd love to revisit it. It's on Hulu. So John has it on Blu-ray. He hasn't watched it. So that is one for the picking. And the other movie, this is the movie that none of us have seen, but my coworker, we were recently kind of going over some Spooktober picks. We were talking about some horror movies, and he's like, wait, you haven't seen that movie? And I was like, dude, it's been on my watch list for the last 4 Spooktobers, and it's failed on all the votes. So maybe this will...
It's like The Fifth Element or something.
We'll see. But he's watched it, and he's like, no, you have to watch it. I'm like, okay, fine. It's called The Wailing. It's on Prime Video. It's a South Korean film. It's from the director of I Saw the Devil, which we've all seen. It's a serial killer film. It's super
Park Chan-wook. I think is what
Not
his
Park
name
Chan
is.
Wook. It's a different one. But it's a super disturbing South Korean film. I think it has to do with like zombies or some sort of like disease. I don't
infected.
really know. Infected.
Yeah.
So
Huh.
those are the Spooktober picks for October 3rd. We have to pick one of these movies. So we have The Wailing on Prime Video, we have Mandy on Shudder, and we have Autopsy of Jane Doe on Hulu. So I'm gonna go to John. You're gonna have to decide right here on air which one you're gonna go with. Which
We're not voting.
We're,
you can. I don't have an official poll for you
I think it's
guys
okay
to
if we do it
vote on.
on
If you want to do
pod.
it in the chat, you can. But if you want to just verbally say it, I think that'll be fine.
let's just say it. Nate, are you
Yeah.
okay with just saying it?
I want to hear you first.
Yeah,
I think
I
you
did
will.
call on John
You did
first.
call
So,
me.
Autopsy of Jane Doe on Hulu, Mandy on Shudder, and The Wailing on Prime Video. Which one
So-
do you want to go with?
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I'm not gonna go with The Wailing.
Okay.
So it's between Mandy and Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Why aren't you gonna go with The Wailing?
I don't care about The
Oh.
Wailing. Maybe it's because it's a foreign film, but
I don't care about bottoms.
Okay. Well, do you like fun? No, you just want to watch The Wailing where people get killed.
Exactly.
So that's the difference between you and me. There you go.
You chose
so
Pitch Perfect as your happy movie, and I chose American Graffiti.
I know. Well, I haven't seen American Graffiti, but I assume that's also a happy film.
But Spencer beat both of us. He picked Totoro. So
Yeah, a film about a giant rabbit.
Hey.
Might as well watch Donnie Darko. Fucking weirdo.
I swear to God, if you say one bad thing, I'm gonna fly down there right now.
I'll buy your ticket. Come down here. We'll hang out. have a good
Okay,
time.
and then I'm just gonna leave. So it's gonna waste your money.
Well, that would be very upsetting for me because I don't have a lot of friends. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and pick Mandy because I need to give Nicolas Cage another chance. That movie, unlike The Empty Man, does have a Funko Pop, so it has a following enough to get a vinyl figurine made for it.
My turn. Finally, you done?
No, yes, no, I'm done.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
you pick Mandy.
So you're gonna pick
The
The
Wailing.
Wailing. Yeah, no
Oh,
fucking big
sh-
surprise.
But genuinely, because it has been talked about for a long time, and it is one that I probably should watch. And there's something about South Korean horror movies; it just has this vibe to it that works with the infected genre. So, yeah,
Yeah.
because I watched The Sadness. That's
Oh, you did?
very, very gory, disturbing take on the infected. It's
Yeah,
That's
no,
a movie
I-
that just brings a smile to your face.
I've
does,
heard
you know?
rumors of that movie being so disturbing and over the top and violent for a
Oh.
zombie movie.
Perfect.
All right, so that kind of eliminates Autopsy of Jane Doe from the list. So I
No,
now
it
have to pick
doesn't.
between Mandy and
Not
The
necessarily.
Wailing.
It's your choice this
That's
week.
that's
so
just
you can
how
say,
I'm
"Fuck
viewing it. That's how I'm viewing
And-
it. That's what you guys, the two that you picked. So I'm gonna try to honor that.
You don't have to though.
I think I know
get,
the answer.
I get that. I know. I feel
You
like
have the
do.
power
Yeah,
to
I
pick a
do.
movie that has been shot down one too many times. I see where this is going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be The Wailing. Yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna be The Wailing. I mean, it's literally been a Spooktober pick for the last 3 years that has lost in all of the polls on Instagram stories between us. We just, you name it, it's always lost. And my coworker just backed it up so hard this past week, being like, "You have to watch it for this Spooktober." I'm like, "Okay, fine, I'll throw it in as a pick, sure." The Wailing. It's on Prime Video. I've heard it's disturbing. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. So buckle up, get your popcorn popped for that movie and that
Yep.
experience. Dim your lights, watch it at night. It's on Prime Video. So if you guys haven't seen that movie like us, you have 2 weeks to watch it. October
Get your
3rd.
subtitles
That's when
ready.
we're going to be talking about it. Get your subtitles ready. Get ready for a nice, disturbing South Korean take on the infected, because that is what we are going to be doing. So
It's probably going to be great. It's probably
Gonna
going to be
be The
awesome.
Wailing. No, I'm excited.
Exactly.
It's always
Like-
been on those lists of like the most disturbing or like the most scary, the best Halloween movies that you have to see that you have never seen. The Wailing is always there.
but it's
All right.
acclaimed. So it's like it's obviously got something behind it.
And I will say, my expectations are high. So,
Mhm.
you know,
Right.
I'm expecting a really good movie here. So that's the movie that we're going to be watching. So if you have a Prime Video subscription, an Amazon Prime account, that is where you can watch it. So The Wailing, that is going to be our next first time watch on October 3rd.
First time.
Yikes.
First time watch.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
So moving on to our final segment. That's next week. That's next week. Not right
Yeah,
now.
fine.
The final segment where I believe you guys are 1-1. Am I right about that? Somebody, I can't remember.
No, Nate technically won the last one on the playback. Only my audio went through, so we're gonna have to do maybe something different in terms of like our name as the buzzer.
Can we do the
our-
chat,
us
maybe?
Yeah,
shouting
do the
out.
chat. So
We
then
could try the
look at-
chat, the private chat.
I will say that's
Uh,
not even 100% either, because I've done that type of thing in my other podcast. And
Here's the thing: I'm gonna
sometimes-
already write out Ducky, and then just have my hand over return, like the enter key, and then
Okay.
when I have an answer, I'll just hit return, and then like the first one up on the private chat, you'll see immediately.
I'm
And
in
then-
the same boat that you're in. I have it
Okay.
typed
All right.
out.
You have
I
it typed out.
Yeah.
So
Let's
we'll
do
just
that.
do it that way. So John, if you have the private chat on,
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
I
We'll do
will
it that
pull
way.
that up.
So
And here
um,
we go.
But
Let's
it was
get
very
some-
weird with the last one because, like, if you listen, because Spencer had a video, it's you hear him say it and mine's delayed. But
can
I
say-
feel like
you
the
can
same
s-
thing
yeah.
happened on my end. Like I said it
Exactly.
and then I looked at your video and then you spoke. So it's like
in your video, you said something that like just didn't appear on the audio for some reason. So
okay.
it's
Either
strange.
way,
Who knows?
I hate
We
that
could
it came down to
disregard it
that.
and
We could just
No,
throw
it's
that one out the window and
fine.
Nate's 1-0 technically, and just pretend it didn't happen. But
Swirl the
Swirl the numbers.
here we go.
It's time for the answers. You know this fact. For the questions I'm about to ask, like
What is the capital of Bolivia? It's
mainstream boy trivia.
There's only so many dances you can do from the comfort of your desk chair. But that's okay. Here we are. Welcome back to another segment of Mainstream Boy Trivia. Who's going to be the mainstream boy of the day is always the
gonna
question
leave the
that
show
we
right
like to
now.
ask.
I am right
I
there
don't
with
understand
you.
the problem. I'm just talking in my normal voice. Here we go.
The topic
don't know
is
what that
question
is,
marks.
Here's how to play, everybody. This is the Mainstream Boy Trivia experience. The game will consist of a variety of trivia questions derived from yours truly, me, Jonathan. And each game will feature a new topic that each question will be in the spirit of. Spencer and Nate will buzz in, trying to correct the guess answer. Who wrote that? The right answer. And the first 2 to 3 points will win the coveted honor of being Mainstream Boy of the week. So, with that being said, do you guys have any guesses for what today's topic is?
Shailene Woodley. did I touch a nerve? What happened
Nah,
there?
you might have struck one there.
All right.
Nate, any guesses?
I was gonna go Anna Kendrick.
What if I said one of those people might be mentioned? We'll see. Today's topic is coming of age movies. Yay! Each question will be in relation to a coming of age movie. First dude to get 3 correct answers will be Mainstream Boy of the Week. Good luck. Okay. Question 1. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret is one of the best coming of age movies to be released in 2023. But what 2017 coming of age flick is director Kelly Freeman Craig known for?
Ducky. Oh shit! Sorry. Bam. Ducky.
That's all right. You said it. I wasn't gonna click.
It's in the chat.
the
I'll allow it. Ducky.
The Edge of 17 with Haley Steinfeld.
That is correct. It is The Edge of
You
17.
ask me a director question, I'm gonna get it.
I
So-
figured, but
also
these are
knew that
not
one.
all director questions. I figured Nate had a chance, but we got to level the playing field a little bit here.
I could have stole that one very easily because Spencer said Ducky, but I was like, no, he said Ducky. I'm not gonna click.
I quickly went to the chat.
That would have been very controversial if he said it and you wrote Debbie. I would have been like, sorry,
yeah.
that's the we said.
I actually I have Nate put down just because it's just
Oh, I mean,
That's
I could
also
just-
fine because that is your name.
Thank
Yeah, congratulations on that. But here we go. Spencer leading 1-0 going into question 2. Who's going to be Mainstream Boy of the Week?
Yay.
Can you already guess what this is related to?
Yeah, the to-do list with Aubrey Plaza. Yeah,
Here
your
we
favorite
go.
list of 2013.
Question 2. In the 2013 film The To-Do List, what is Brandy's first task to do on the checklist? Is it French kissing, dry humping, getting felt up, or a hand job? Nate.
I'm going with getting felt up, John.
That is incorrect.
All right, Ducky.
Ducky.
I'm gonna go with French kissing.
French kissing is correct.
All right.
That is the number one thing she wanted to do. And she did it with Cameron. How great for her. Moving on to question number 3. Ducky leading 2-0.
Never seen these movies.
This is a video question. A video question. Please watch the video, enjoy it, and then answer the question that follows afterward. Here we go. Should play.
I don't think it does. Is it Cara Delevingne? I mean, I just see Cara Delevingne.
Can you not hear it?
Is that Nat Wolf and Paper Towns?
You can't hear it?
I can't hear it. There's no audio,
shit.
but I see a clip
What's
of
the
Cara
question?
Delevingne.
What's the question?
Standing
you
next
have
to
to-
Nat Wolf. There's
We
a
don't.
lot
We've seen the
section
movie. Like,
of
what's the
Cara
question?
Delevingne.
Well, the audio really matters. So
I'm
I
just
kinda
helping
need
out
you
the
to hear
audio
it.
listeners here describing it, because that's all I have to work with.
Up, can you hear it?
No, cannot hear it. You're gonna have to add that to a video clip on the StreamYard, but the clip
All
is
right.
Paper Towns.
All right. Well, here's
Spencer's
the
gonna get it.
question.
Like
What
I-
Florida town does the 2015 film Paper Towns take place? Is it Tampa Bay, Orlando, Jupiter, or Jacksonville?
Bucky?
Did you put
Spencer,
your name
you
in
need to click.
2 minutes ago?
No, but I'm struggling typing it out, and I just figured no one's saying anything. So,
It's because I don't know, so I'm not even gonna.
no, I don't know either, but I just want to guess.
All right, Ducky.
Is it Juniper?
First of all, that's not how you say Jupiter.
Jupiter, sorry. I just looked at it once.
Nate, do you have an answer?
I'm gonna go with Jacksonville.
That's incorrect.
Jaguars.
That is incorrect. We're moving on to the next question.
Thank
The
you.
answer was Orlando.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
Okay.
Swing and a miss. All right.
That's
Orlando.
if you guys can't hear it, that's a genuine problem though. I feel like I don't know how to
You're gonna
fix
have to do a video clip in the.
Oh, you know what I can do? Okay. Hold on. Just stand by. We got it.
Come on,
Question
let's go to the
4.
next. There we go. All right.
Question 4. You can't hear that, right? All right. So here's
Nope.
what we're gonna do.
I haven't
I
seen it.
know it's the spectacular now, but yeah.
All right. Stand by, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and share that. Present. Share. Can you hear that?
Nope.
I mean, I know it's a clip of the spectacular now, but what's the
Shut up.
question?
Just listen.
There's no audio, but yeah,
Yeah.
You really can't hear that?
no.
No. I'm just gonna stand back and let Spencer do the sweep because I have no fucking clue.
You're gonna have to upload them as video clips, not the share screen. But
Fuck this. This is stupid. StreamYards. That's dumb.
no question.
The question was related to the music in the background, so that's a fucking problem. Well, you know what? You win some, you lose some, everybody. I will say who plays Miles Teller's sister in The Spectacular Now? I feel like Spencer knows and he's waiting for Nate to pick it.
My only guess is Brie Larson, but I think he has sex with her in one scene, so it can't be her.
You know what? She doesn't have a sister in the movie. Brie Larson is his ex-girlfriend, so you're right. That's correct, Spencer. Good job. The real question was, what is the name of the song playing in the background? It's called "Walk in the Trees," and you can't hear it, so that's too bad. Good thing the next question also has a video. Oh no, it doesn't. Okay, here we go. Nate, I'll give you 2 points if you get this right, and it'll be a tie going.
I
to the final
don't
question.
know this fucking shit. Oh my god, I'm just.
Director Will Gluck is most well known for his beloved Peter Rabbit movies, but what 2010 coming-of-age film not only started his career, but also an actress that would win an Oscar about a decade later?
I don't know why you selected me. I don't know. Spencer knows.
Can I just say easy A to end this?
Jesus Christ. It's crazy because Spencer's like, oh, include more video stuff. So I do, and then it doesn't work. So here we are.
It just has to be included in a different format, but you tried,
stupid.
and that's fine. That's okay.
And I love how the next one was Faults in Our Stars, and it was about fucking... Okay, here we go. This is just for fun. This was a funny question that I decided to do. It's a metaphor. The video clip doesn't matter. Here we go. What kind of cancer does Ansel Elgor's character of Augustus Waters have in the 2014 film The Fault in Our Stars?
Jesus.
Wow.
Was it kidney cancer, lung cancer, skin cancer, or bone cancer? You shit. What kind of cancer does he have in Fault in Our Stars,
one,
Nate? What kind of cancer does Augustus Waters have, Nate?
I'm gonna say kidney cancer.
I'm gonna say lung cancer.
Oh my god, I got you guys. It's neither. It's bone cancer, you guys.
I've never seen this.
Movie.
I don't know.
You've never seen this?
That's the last. Oh my god, the 4 movies I've never seen.
Fuck. Well, that was a shit show. I apologize for everything that just happened there. I don't even know if we can give Spencer the win. Do we?
I would give him the win because he answered at the times. And
how about this? How about we don't give the win to either of us, but we give the loss to John?
I didn't do anything wrong. I made a great. I spent like an hour and a half on this, and the videos just don't play. So
well, I was gonna say you spent an hour on it, but the videos don't have audio.
They will play, but you got to play in
Throw
a way
it in the oven.
I mean,
so I have to put them in here where you can see them. That's the thing. It's like
in a tab that's called video clips, so you can just
throw it in the oven.
We got to hit our quota of how many throw it in the ovens can we do on this episode, don't we?
Throw it in the oven.
Yeah. So
well, now you know what kind of cancer Augustus Waters had in 2014's The Fault in Our Stars. It was bone cancer, and Shailene Woodley had lung cancer.
Yeah. I did actually watch a movie that had Shailene Woodley in it recently, and it was probably one of the worst movies of the year. It's called Robots.
You watched that?
Oh,
yes.
God.
Road to 100, man. God damn.
Is that Jack Whitehall or whatever his name is?
Yes, Jack Whitehall, who, yes, I got to watch on set of Jungle Cruise.
One of the worst scripts of the year, just painfully cringe dialogue. Characters are so unlikable, and you never care.
Yeah, I was so perplexed by how this movie just kept going right into the next gag scene at 100 miles per hour, yet the whole movie feels like 2 hours long when it's only 90 minutes. It is a train wreck of a movie, but I will say, I mean, Shailene Woodley looks incredible in the film. So,
well, she's a robot. What's the better robot film, Robots or Robots?
Oh,
the animated,
the original Robot
was so much better. Oh my god,
was this a sequel?
Williams in it? Has it made Minds? Yeah, come on.
What about iRobot with Will Smith?
No,
Fun, but I would still prefer the animated one.
But no, I'm actually at 101, so I've passed 100, so road to 200 at this point. So.
Well, I'm gonna
throw it in the oven.
In the oven.
At this point,
at the whatever temperature I can get it up to, that's what it's gonna be tonight.
Yeah.
So
okay,
My Cousin Vinny was good.
Well,
My Cousin Vinny was great. Yep. And we have The Wailing coming up on October 3rd, the next episode. So if you have a Prime account, go and watch The Wailing for sure.
And Ducky is this week's mainstream boy.
I don't even know if I can count that.
And just in time, too.
You win. Good job. You did. I mean, you won. You had every question right, despite me having, technical difficulties.
Hey, he knew the answers and I didn't. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, I thought you
knew
knew
some of
coming of
the
age
answers.
stuff. I almost did like older movies. Like I was gonna do like Stand by Me and stuff, but I was like, I don't want to do that. So
I mean,
Yeah, sure. Instead, I'm
Here we
just
are.
gonna do Spectacular Now and Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah.
in Paper Town. So like 3 John Green.
Surprised Nicolas
2
Cage
John Green
wasn't in
movies.
that trivia. All
I was
right.
gonna say I've seen Paper Towns, but with no audio. I'm just like, whatever.
It was just what town did it take place in? It was Orlando. And I read the book, so it's also in the book. If you read the book, you would know.
Yeah.
That was a Fault in Your Stars.
Got him.
Got him.
Throw it in the oven.
All right,
Throw me
so
in the
I
oven.
believe that can that end this? Can we be done? I think that's gonna do it
Yeah.
for this bi-weekly episode of the Those Movie Dudes podcast. Congrats to Ducky. Congrats to all of us just for being here and listening. If you made it this far, thank you. Make sure to subscribe. Follow us on those platforms, Instagram, X, all those various things. You got a movie question? DM us. Maybe we'll feature it on the show. Maybe it could be in the beginning during the movie news that doesn't exist.
Shout out to Golden Age Cinemas or whatever the YouTube account that commented on the Spooktober picks that Nate and I did. I hope you enjoyed the Empty Man. Hope you check it out. 'Cause,
Heck yeah.
You said that
Yeah.
you were. So please let us know what you thought of it.
Yep. And I am not the Mona Lisa Vito of doing trivia.
No, for sure.
No.
Absolutely
the-
not.
You're
I
the
suck.
lawyer that is from the town. That's like can't put a sentence together.
God damn it. Well, with that being said, enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody.
Ooh. Also, make sure you follow us at ThoseMovieDudes on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. We're posting
Yeah.
YouTube videos all the time now. So go and subscribe to us on YouTube at ThoseMovieDudes. You do have to type it out as one word, I've noticed. If you space out those movie and dudes like a normal person,
Really
you're
annoying.
not going to be able to find it, which is super weird. But go and do that. Subscribe to our channel. We have 12 subscribers so far. Getting up there in the subscribers, so get us up to 50, and maybe we'll do some little live streams or something. Increase
Watch
the
Never
out,
know where
Conde.
this might
Oh.
go, everybody.
Watch out,
knows what's gonna
Conde.
happen.
Get some vampire blood.
Definitely
in
check out Al Conde. It's a very strange movie, but don't watch Robots with Shailene Woodley.
Yeah, do not.
Weekend and I'm trying to have fun. I got no fucking plans. I'm just trying to get drunk. It's the weekend, trying to have some fun. And I want to get too fucked up.